Hello and welcome guys, and welcome to this vlog. And in this vlog we are going to discuss about one of the most lengthiest paper of your intermediate group 1, which is direct and indirect taxation. And needless to say guys, the other 3 papers on one side and the course content of DT and IDT on the other side. So yes, it's pivotal for all of you to engage into some smart studying techniques so that not only is the syllabus covered within time, but also the revisions are done adequately. Because covering the syllabus is not enough. Revisions are to be done, repeated revisions are to be done if you really want to score good in this particular paper, which is direct and indirect taxation. So in this session, I'm going to give you an ABC analysis of all the chapters, which chapters are important, which chapters are less important. But yes, I would never advise you to leave any chapter. The chapters which are less important, you can at max just go through them in a very quick manner rather than going into in-depth details of each and every of those chapters. But the chapters which are category A chapters, needless to say, you have to complete them to the core, and you have to revise them again and again so that those chapters, at least you have a command which is absolutely strong, and those chapters can actually be a winning spree for all of you. So first and foremost guys, which subject to be taken up first, IDT or DT? I'm indifferent to it, although there's no major difference to this fact whether DT should be taken up first or IDT should be taken up first. But from perspective of students, if I think that IDT has got a lesser course content, therefore it will be finished sooner than DT. And if IDT is finished sooner than DT, you will be able to actually gain some confidence that yes, one subject is at least over. And this is the reason why I always suggest my students to take up IDT first and then start with DT. But if you want to take up DT first, I have no problems in that. That's also a very good strategy. So you can carry on with that strategy itself. Now coming on to the ABC analysis, coming on to the most important chapters of both these subjects. So first of all, I'm going to discuss with you the important chapters with respect to IDT. And yes, this analysis of A, B and C category chapters has been done on the basis of scanner. So what do you mean by scanner? Scanner means a document, a booklet which contains questions from past 15 attempts or past 10 attempts, and they'll tell you that yes, this chapter has come for a higher weightage in the past examination and this chapter has come for a lesser weightage. So this gives us a fair idea on which chapters are more important than the other chapters. So if I talk about IDT, the first and foremost important chapter is of course levy and collection of GST and IGST. Supply. The chapter of supply is definitely the most important chapter. Reverse charge mechanism is definitely important. Composition levy. Exemptions is an important chapter. But guys, of course, exemptions you cannot just learn all of them because there are too many of exemptions in your syllabus. So yes, you have to pick and choose the important ones, like education sector is important, government sector is important, healthcare sector is important. So you have to pick and choose the important ones, and you should lay more emphasis on those exemptions rather than all the exemptions. Then we have value and time of supply, undoubtedly very important. Input tax credit and computation of GST liability. So if you cover 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the chapters of GST, then you can almost be sure that you've covered 80% of syllabus of GST. And yes, of course, customs duty. A mandatory question from customs duty come in the examination every time. So customs duty is again an A category chapter. So what to do with the rest of the chapters? So for rest of the chapters like registration, returns, tax invoice, these chapters can be quickly done by you. Don't spend a lot of time on them, and quickly just brush up those chapters and specifically focus on the questions which have come in the past examination for these chapters. So where can we get it? Get it through Scanner. The Scanner is available on my website also, www.cscscmanikhilgupta.com. You can purchase from there or anywhere on internet. It's available, freely available. Your nearest bookstore will also have scanners, so Scanner can be bought by you to understand what kind of questions come in a particular examination. So that's about IDT. Okay, again, point of caution, please do not leave any chapter. You have to complete the entire syllabus. It's only that lay more emphasis on the core course content so that you are able to gain marks in a more efficient manner. That's the only thing that I'm requesting to all of you. Okay, so this is IDT, indirect taxation, and yes, I have analyzed what kind of chapters are recurringly coming in the examination, and these are the chapters which are recurringly coming in the examination. Therefore, these are to be laid emphasis on. Now coming on to DT, and if I talk about DT syllabus is vast, it's huge, right? So yes, a fair bit of ABC analysis is required in DT syllabus, and we actually need to understand which chapters are more important, which chapters are less important. We need to understand it, and we need to accordingly study. So these are the chapters which are there in your direct taxation. Yes, my emphasis, the chapters which will take the core of your studying time should be, first of all, residential status. A mandatory question from residential status comes in the examination for sure. So residential status, very, very important. Salaries, very, very important. House property, very, very important. PGBP, capital gains, very, very important. Now, at this point in time, sometimes capital gain questions becomes too complex. If you proceed towards the end of the chapter, they become a little complex, which means that in the capital gains, things like amalgamation, demerger, they creep in, and when they step into action, then they become a little more complex. So a strategy can be, since we have a lot of internal choices, a strategy can be, we can lay less emphasis on the later part of capital gains. We can lay less emphasis on the later part of the capital gains. So if you have done fair bit of initial part of capital gain, indexation, long term, short term, if you've done all of those things and exemptions which are given at last of the chapter, then you are almost there. Okay, that can be a strategy which can be taken. So apart from this, clubbing and set off, very, very important. Both these chapters are regularly coming in the examination. And deductions, yes, deductions is a chapter which is quite an important chapter. Plus one chapter which according to CMA study mat is definitely holding a important position is taxation of various persons. Now this chapter has got a taxation of various kind of persons. So this chapter is again very, very important, because in past examination, a question from either a political party or any kind of other person taxation is asked in the examination. So this chapter again is a red mark question chapter. TDS, you should be aware of the the most important sections of TDS. Yes, it's a huge chapter, a lot of sections in it, but I would lay my emphasis on the important TDS sections only. And yes, that's about it. Okay, so if you just cover these 7 to 8 chapters, then you'll guarantee yourself at least 80% marks in DT paper, and the paper is for 100 marks. And we have internal choices as well, and the scoring, the pass percentage is 50 marks. Now if you do the A category chapters which I've just highlighted in front of you to the core, I'm very sure you can cross 70 plus in DT and IDT in a very short span of time. Now it's you who have to manage time well. Of course, time management is in your hands, so please manage time well and do wonders in DT and IDT. I've given you an ABC analysis of DT and IDT both. Now, some important things that you need to really remember about DT and IDT. Okay, notes you have to refer to. If you have taken coaching from me, then I provide you the notes. They are more than enough. No need to refer to any other thing. Charts, I always prefer my students to make charts in their registers, to draw charts themselves. But if for time constraint you are not able to do that, then you can take a printout and refer to charts a lot, because they are an amazing way of retaining the entire law. Then practical questions are the most important part of the entire studying strategy. So CMA study mat practical questions are the most important. If you've taken coaching from a teacher who's not teaching CMA study mat, then it's your responsibility to cover the study mat yourself. For each and every practical question which is given in your study mat, CMA study mat, that is to be definitely done by all of you. Then theoretical questions are definitely important. CMA study mat is the key. Practice questions and past examination questions. So in my book, if you refer to the chapters of DT and IDT, I've given certain practice questions at the end of every chapter. Those are really important, and even more important are the past examination questions. That needs to be done by you for sure. Again, scanner will come to rescue. Revisions, at least 3 times you need to revise the entire syllabus before your examination, so that you have a strong grip on both the subjects. So revision 3 times is bare minimum. Mock test paper, you should solve mock test papers of DT and IDT. I take a test series which is absolutely free of cost for all the CMA students, which will start 2 months prior to your examination. So if you have exam in June, then for you the test series will start in the month of April, And if you have examination in December, then the test series will start in the month of October. So please take benefit of that test series. It will really prove to be a game changer for you. Discipline is definitely in your hands. Regularly study direct and indirect taxation. And I had a teacher who used to tell me that, who used to tell all of us that taxation is like your girlfriend or boyfriend. If you don't talk to them even for one day, they'll feel neglected, and they might refuse to talk to you ever again, or they might not like it. So regularity is one thing that taxation demands. Do taxation every day. Do taxation at least once a day. You should open a books of taxation and do it. So regularity is really, really important. Of course, you need to do a lot of sacrifices. Needless to say, June attempt is round the corner. December is also not that far. If you think December is far, don't think like that, because syllabus is huge. Since syllabus is huge, December is not also very, very far. So please sacrifice your social media presence, your friends, your family, your relatives, your pleasures. Sacrifice all of them to have a glorious CMA degree, CMA tag in front of your name. That is very, very important. Determination and perseverance go a long way. If you're determined, if you are absolutely strong-willed, then you definitely will score 70 plus in DT and IDT. Consistency is the key. Consistency and regularity are one and the same thing. So yes, these are my analysis. So I'll show you the analysis once again. ABC analysis. If you want to take a screenshot, you can take a screenshot of the ABC analysis. This is for direct taxation, and this is for indirect taxation. Please do this ABC analysis yourself also using scanner and study accordingly. And I'm very, very sure if you follow this strategy of picking up the important chapters first, completing them, and then giving a little bit less time to the unimportant chapters, this will save your time and also have a smart study approach for direct and indirect taxation, because the course content is absolutely huge. So yes, that's all for this particular video, guys. On this positive note that you will get 70 plus in DT and IDT. All the very best and happy studying.